Welcome to BBUS 307, our class in business ethics. And this morning is going to be a special session on the topic of ethics and morals. As this is a class of business ethics, as we've talked about, we find that one's own ethics really are a function of one's own set of morals. And I'm going to talk about this as a role model in moral leadership with reference to the late His Majesty the King of Thailand. How did the king influence the Thai people? I'd like to read this from the Straits Times. This is an independent analyst who talked about the king. On May 5th, 1950, His Majesty the King was crowned. Over the next few decades, the soft-spoken monarch would transform from a privileged, United States-born, European-educated young man into a father figure for a nation of more than 60 million people. He navigated the nastiness of the Cold War and regional conflicts, traveled the length and breadth of the land, that being Thailand, earning the respect and affection of millions of his subjects, and survived Thailand's cutthroat politics with a quiet, aloof detachment. During his reign, Thailand grew from a poor agricultural nation surrounded by instability and war into a vibrant modern economy and one of the world's top tourism destinations. Its gross domestic product many times more than that of its immediate neighbors combined GDP. A news analyst in Thailand reflected upon the king's life as this: for the Thai people, the king was an inspiration. He's always had their welfare at the uppermost of his mind. For over 70 years, he worked hard for the well-being of his subjects in keeping with his ascension oath to reign with righteousness for the benefit and happiness of the Siamese people. Since early in his reign, His Majesty the King traveled to all corners of Thailand, reaching the remotest, most dangerous parts, talking to the poor and the vulnerable, to understand their ways and problems, and find ways to help them. In short, His Majesty was the people's king, someone who tirelessly looked after the best interests of his people, of all backgrounds, beliefs, and ethnicities. His Majesty was the best father the Thai people could ever have, a man who lived and ruled by the highest of morals, and whose legacy will remain as a shining example.